Now I know that many of you have been deployed in different regions on different missions for different purposes. Some of you may have been deployed in response to Hurricane Harvey or some other activities involving the homeland here in Texas. Others of you may have been deployed elsewhere in the United States on some other homeland-based mission. Others of you may have been deployed in other countries across the entire globe. Probably this mission is unlike any other. This obviously is a homeland mission, but we are dealing with unprecedented consequences. Now listen, we've always had a border, and we've always had people coming across the border since long before anybody in this room was ever born. But never before have we had the challenges on the border like we are having this past year. I want to put this in context for you. We've had well over 1 million people come across our border illegally just this 1 year. I met some people who live in El Paso. There are far more people who've come across the border just in this calendar year than the entire population of El Paso. There are some people here from San Antonio. There are far more people who have come across the border just this year than all the people who live in San Antonio. And you need to understand some of the people that we're dealing with. Some of the people have come from China, Iran, Russia, Syria, countries of terroristic interests. And those happen to be the ones that we apprehended. We don't know about all the ones who may come across the border from those nations that may have bad intent. Typically, if they're coming from China or Russia, their goal is to not get caught. Our goal is to make sure anybody from any country gets caught. If you haven't heard, we have people coming from more than 150 countries across the globe. And the challenges that we're dealing with are multifold. For one, we have so many Texas families, especially in this region, whose homes, whose neighborhoods, whose ranches, whose way of life have been completely disrupted. And they are in danger every day. Your role, your mission is to ensure that we restore peacefulness. We restore safety and security in every neighborhood in this entire state. Last night I was doing an interview on the news station in Corpus Christi, and I was getting a question about a rancher in Corpus Christi who was complaining about the way that his land had been overrun in Jim Hall County. This is happening every place across the state. And if it were just ranches being overrun, that is one thing. We need to understand also what else is coming across the border. One of the deadliest drugs in the world right now is the drug fentanyl. 2 tiny milligrams, 2 grains of salt of fentanyl is a deadly dose. Just the Texas Department of Public Safety, just this year, has seized enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in Texas, California, and New York combined. I have personal friends in Texas who have lost their lives because they bought a drug laced with fentanyl. There's been almost 100,000 people who have lost their life this year because of deadly doses of fentanyl. And then on top of that, we have the human smugglers who are smuggling in other types of drugs, smuggling in contraband, and smuggling in people, some of whom are very dangerous. I'm sure you know, some of you may have been involved in the mission where MS-13 gang members were apprehended. People who have committed murder were apprehended. People who have raped others have been apprehended. This is a very dangerous situation, with danger of being wrecked by the drug cartels. We need to understand that these drug cartels are operating in the nation that they're coming through, where the drug cartels have active levels of control of cities and counties and states, and to some extent, even the national government. This is Texas. We are not going to allow the cartels to disrupt the state of Texas or the United States of America. Now, a key component of what you're working on right now is so important. It's one thing to engage with people who are coming across the border. A smarter strategy, of course, is to prevent them from ever coming across the border to begin with. And we know that there are these large caravans that are making their way through Mexico. One of our primary goals right now is to deter them from making the decision to come into the state of Texas. You need to let them know if they're making a decision to come across the border into the state of Texas, they messed with the wrong state. And then we need to deal with the consequences of those who are making it across the border. I received a photograph that I actually posted on Twitter a couple of days ago of National Guard who seized one of these rafts that was coming across the border, as well, importantly, as the smuggler that was bringing people across the border. We want those smugglers. Those smugglers are horrific people. I'm sure you know the stories about all the horrors they put people through that they're smuggling here. Many people who leave wherever they're coming from to make it to Texas, many of them never make it here because they lose their life. Others of them are raped, assaulted, abused, or other tragedies. Many of them who make it across into the state of Texas, they're forced into a life of human trafficking. It is reprehensible that these people are, I guess, offered the opportunity to even make that dangerous trek in the first place, because it is such a dangerous trek, and these people have no idea that they're being put into a system where their lives are going to be subject to human trafficking for years. We, as a civilized nation and state, we want to stop that behavior. We want to ensure safety and security for everybody in our state, and we want to maintain the sovereignty of the state of Texas and the sovereignty of the United States of America. And it's our National Guard and Texas Department of Public Safety officers who are on the front lines, the tip of the spear, who are keeping Texas safe. So thank you for what you do. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Texas and the United States of America.